Today we're going to start building new window shutters. We had a pretty good windstorm the other day and it blew off one shutter up there, and then the front of the house you can't quite see it. There's a small shutter as well that's gone. Our plan was to change these shutters out anyway, so this was a good push to get it done. This should be a pretty quick and easy job. I've already built one a few days ago to kind of get our design down. So that's kind of how it's going to look. So I put this together when the boards were still pretty wet. These are all fence pickets. And as you can see, the gap on the left side, the gap on the right side is completely different. When I put these together, I didn't have a gap at all. So this time I actually have my boards out here drying. They've been baking in the sun for a few days. I'm just trying to get as much moisture out of them as possible. We haven't had any rain in the forecast, so it's just been pretty hot. I probably should have put some more staves in between them, because as you see, I got a couple of them bowing pretty good, but I'll get that out when I cut them. So far I'm $50 in this project with my fence pickets, but I'm going to go ahead and get them cut. Then I'm going to put them in the garage and probably strap them down for a few more days until we figure out what paint color. The whole plan is I'm going to cut them to size. We're going to decide paint the entire board, and then assemble. So let's get them cut. So I have my boards all cut out for my 3 windows here. These are all going to be the long boards. Where I got my measurements is I actually used the old shutters. We like the length of them. So they were 58 and 5/8. So all my long boards are 58 and 5/8. My smaller ones are going to span the three board, which is going to be around 16 inches, maybe 16 and a half. It's going to be a little less than this because the gaps, so maybe 16 and a half for the shutters. For my smaller window, see if I can get you a shot of it. Shot. So that's my smaller window up there. See, it's only got one shutter left. We have the other shutter down here, so I'm gonna do the same thing. Let me get the length on this one. So it looks like 34 3/4. So I'll need 6 boards at 34 3/4. Let's get them cut. So my next step is I'm going to cut all these boards down to 5.5 inches. Due to swelling, and I mean these are all exterior fence pickets, so they're not exactly the straightest. They're not the same sizes, so 5.5 inches should make it look uniform throughout. And the last thing we got to cut are these pieces here, 2 per shutter. I've got all these clamped down. I'm just trying to take the bows out of most of them. The smaller pieces actually came out great. They're straight. So they'll sit in here for a few days until we figure out paint color. So let's get to cutting those pieces. Pickets do not like to sand easy. It's pretty hard. So I mean, I got it, so I'm going to use it. We got a planer. I'm going to plane it down a little bit, and if I have to, I'll sand it some more, but I want to make them smooth. That way they look a little better and go together a little smoother. The planer did a great job at smoothing out most of the rough spots, but I'm going to go back through with the orbital sander, 80 grit, just to knock it down a little bit more, and that should be it. If you were doing this, you probably really don't have to sand it that much. Like this one here, I didn't sand it all, and you can see it is kind of rough, but depending how far back you are, you won't even notice it. We're still trying to figure out the color we want to paint it. We painted this blue, and we also have 2 different stains up top, so we haven't thought 100% of what we're going to be doing. So the only thing I'm doing now is prepping these, and then I'll continue to wait as long as I need to till we decide what to paint them. Then I'll stick them together, paint them, and put them up. So now we're going to start sanding. It's a side project. I got to reattach my retention clip that goes right there and catches that, so you can fold the saw up. So let's fix it. Well, it looks like bubble gum, but it'll hold. have our first 2 shutters up. I'm still doing a little repairs, little touch-ups. This one had a gouge through both of these, so I'll just run some wood filler, sand it down, paint it. Still have to do the top 2 windows and the smaller window on the roof. Looking pretty good. I threw this one out here to show you all our different paint colors we were trying to decide. Throw in the comments below what paint color you would have chosen. This took us about 2 months to figure out a paint color for these shutters. I'm waiting on some hardware. I'm gonna put right here. It's gonna go like that. It's gonna be about 7 inches long. The screw holes from the outside edge to this one is 6 inches. And it's solid. I drove 3-inch screws through. These are deck screws. So exterior. This is, the wood I used again is treated fence boards. So you wanna make sure you use the right screw whenever you're putting them through. So it's going pretty good so far. Also let me know in the comments below what you think about the design. Do you like this design or the new design? I don't know, I kind of favor the new design, but the other one can work too. All right, next time I turn this camera on, I should have the hardware and we'll finish putting these together. So as you saw, I had to move one of my screws that was in the shutter over a little bit because they lined up perfectly with that hole. But all I did was move them over. I had to get new screws here, and all I did was get longer ones that actually drilled through the shutter and into the wall. But I think it turned out pretty good. Just got 2 more windows up here and then 1 more on the roof up there. We'll call this project done. shutters were pretty easy to put together, as you saw throughout the video. I think the hardware came out really nice. You saw that I put my 2 screws behind the hardware here and here, and that's more than strong enough to hold it. I put a 3-inch deck screws through them, and they're pretty solid. They're not going anywhere. But I think that gives it a seamless look, and they came out looking really nice. I like the color as well. And you can let me know down in the comments below which color you would have picked out of all those colors we were deciding between. But another project down. I'll see y'all on the next one.